This is your Solana Daily News. We've got plenty of things to cover, but basically this is a general update to get you ready for this next week. After Solana Crossroads, I'm pretty damn excited on quite a few things, so let's dive in. It's the 13th of May. So Solana Crossroads, just quickly, I'll do a more in-depth video on this, but this was in Istanbul in Turkey, and it was definitely a success. It's really good to speak to a whole lot of people about different viewpoints, about different topics, AI, gaming, DeFi, all that sort of stuff. So now I have a much better idea of how I think things will play out, and I'll tell you them over the next coming days. In my opinion, definitely attend Solana Breakpoint in Singapore. It's in September, and I'm going to do my best to be there. I'm pretty sure I'll be there. And then Solana Crossroads next year, definitely consider attending this as well. I think it was really good, and it could be a whole lot better as well, just as more and more people come. So quickly over Bitcoin and prices. Essentially, we are in this chop market, so I'm not going to really cover it too much. I think right now is the time just to get into as many applications as possible. And from there, we should do okay just by airdrops, by learning, APYs on DeFi, SOL staking, some NFTs will go up, not so much probably NFTs at the moment, and some meme coins will go up. And just in general, I think it's better to be playing on chain. In terms of leverage, long or short, definitely, in my opinion, stay away. Anyway, Mag thinks that the price will pump. Then again, he's also aware that we are in a chop market. Blunt thinks that round 2 will be coming in as well. And it's important just to learn a couple of small lessons. As an example, the psychology of crypto cycle. So the chart below shows psychology of the majority of the retail investors buying the top and selling the bottom. We're currently at it's a double top. So we're here, it's a double top. But quite often you can feel like we hit here, it hit 72,000 or whatever it hit, and then we start to go down. And this is where you can kind of think, well, what if it doesn't go back? What if it doesn't go up? What's going to happen? So this is realistically where we actually are. Savage Charts also thinks we're going to pump this week. Personally, I'm just not shorting anything, and I'm not longing anything either. A short tweet here from Mark Cuban. A lot of people think that really crypto is about speculation, which definitely is, avoiding taxes, and engaging in criminal activity. Whereas it makes it so much easier. Crypto is so much easier. It is a little bit of a learning curve, but then again, if you'd never had a bank account and you had to work out how to use a bank account or how to use your credit card when they freeze transactions, there's learning curves to everything. Either way, I'm hoping that the US starts to become more crypto friendly. I think that will just pump up the entire space, and I'm pretty sure that it will happen. Now, on to deBridge. So you can win $1,000 out of a $5,000 USDC prize pool, and this is ending today, 7 p.m. Central Eastern Time. Now, how you grab this glob is, I believe, I covered it a few days ago, so you should be able to see it on the Solana content calendar, but go to Drip House, find the deBridge glob, and then you need to do, I think, 5 bridging actions, and then go and submit a form. Either way, all the information is here, and this is linked below. You may as well enter it. I mean, it's minimal effort, $1,000. If one of the viewers on this channel actually wins, fantastic. And you know what? Quite often things like this, you expect there's going to be a lot of people using it, but you may find there's only a couple of thousand people that actually did it, if that. So either way, go and get amongst it. Now, after a few different chats at Breakpoint, I've got a different viewpoint on gaming, and I don't necessarily think that putting funds into it is really the best option. That's not financial advice. If you're into gaming, if you've got a different narrative, follow your narrative and follow your judgment. There are some exceptions to the rule, of course, things that can create a bit of a dopamine effect. I do like, as I've mentioned before, Alpaca Dash, and I'm keen to try a couple more others as well. But anything that has a really complex mechanic or too many moving parts, and I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings here, but as an example, Star Atlas, I tried to learn it previously. There's so many different moving parts. You really have to incentivize people by tokens or giveaways or competitions in order to get people to actually play. And that's not really sustainable in the world of gaming. So my friend and I, we had a good chat with a couple of different people, and things can certainly change. We'll cover this maybe in a dedicated video. So all I'm going to do here is I'm going to keep you updated on things that I've covered in the past that may be of interest to you, but unless it's kind of low-hanging fruit, like well worth spending a couple of dollars and then there's a chance to get something decent, I'm actually just going to stay away. As an example, the Heist, join Discord. There is 5K in prizes right now for the Generations event. Reavers has been put under new leadership, and it's a new roadmap. This person's very smart when it comes to all of this. His name is Riddick. However, narrative drives things, and they had a very short idle game kind of narrative last year. It was very short-lived. Others tried to get amongst it and it just didn't work. and I don't see it actually coming back. Also, StepN, if you have some of these shoes, then use them because you'll probably earn like $10 a day or something like that, and that's fine. Maybe it's $5 a day, and you're more than welcome to do it. But something like StepN, just keep in mind that you can now get it on the Solana Mobile DApp store. Maybe downloading it there, just maybe, it will kind of give you extra points, or maybe there's an extra shoe or something like that, but I don't really think so. I do think things like this, such as Moonwalk, has great product market fit, but because their tokenomics were they just didn't work out very well. But I'm not an expert here. If you've got the shoes, if you want to keep on exercising, go for it. All I'm really doing is just calling to your attention that it's on Solana Mobile. Also, I had some people ask me about Pixiz, and basically all they did was they went and copied Play the Heist. Like, it's very obvious. This is theirs. This is Magic. This is the Heist. This is this. This is this. And then you can also see that increased loot chance. And this minted out, by the way. I'm not sure exactly how much they actually raised. You can see they've gone with the gold tick. I am noticing the gold tick is kind of a strategy. I'm not saying they're scammers. I'm just saying, will this do well? Maybe it did. If it does do well, it'd be something that I would be aggressively taking profits on. And of course, that's not financial advice, and I don't have any of these NFTs. Either way, they've got plenty of engagement, but this is all engagement that you get from, Zealy quests and Saba quests and things like that. And they did sell out within 2 hours and 20 minutes. And well done to all those who got their NFTs. The serious stuff starts now. The whole team can't wait to show you the Pixiz game. Thank you all. They basically just copied someone else, and I don't think that's a successful action. Now the trial Jupiter Working Groups, there's a few updates here from Meow. So the first thing to keep in mind is when you vote, doesn't matter if you abstain, if you vote for or against, you still get active staking rewards. So if you don't like something, by all means, vote no. Now the reason why I actually voted for every single one, even though I could definitely agree it was a little bit too expensive, is essentially it's 3 months. If they don't deliver, if they don't hustle, if they don't actually push out a great product, if they don't actually add value, then just the DAO can just not renew them. Just people can vote against. Anyway, cadets have a feedback channel here. The web working group, they're working on getting the station organized. I'd like to see how this goes. My personal preference is way more infographics. And then the Reddit working group, they of course need to do a whole lot of stuff to get this really firing. It does of course take some time. They've got 6 and 7 votes. And I feel that they need to try and make this into just giving distilled alpha, an intermediate, beginner, advanced, a whole lot of content where people think I need to go there because, like when people watch this video, I go there, it saves me time and I get alpha. Anyway, just keep in mind, if you actually have a skill, you can go and form your own working group and apply for a budget in the future as well. Also on the subject of Jupiter, and more so the Jup token, so Justy thinks price of $2 coming in soon. Just remember, we've got June is the last month for voting rewards for now. Of course, then there'll be more and more, but this is when we're actually going to be paid out some Jup. So there's 50 million Jup coming to us for voters. So if you've been voting from the beginning, then you'll get, I haven't worked it out. I could probably try and work it out more or less, but my expectation would be something like a 25 to 35% APR. So if you voted for everything, when you factor in the Jup you're going to get, the Wen, Zeus, Shark, UPT, and Sanctum, providing of course that Sanctum actually does launch before July, then you will get, I think, a decent amount of rewards. Now, of course, that means that you have to be voting from the beginning. If you started voting from a couple of weeks ago, then it will be a pro rata amount. Maybe you get, 30% of the rewards or something. It depends on how many votes you actually win in. Each vote has a weight amount of 1, excluding the Jupiter working groups, which each had a third. So you had to vote for all 3 for it to basically class as, 1 weighted vote. So how many votes have there been? Maybe there's been like 5. So something along those lines. So if you vote for all of them, you'll get the maximum amount of rewards that your Jup will entitle to you. Otherwise, of course, you can basically keep in mind that maybe each vote's worth maybe 20%. There could be 6 votes we've done, I can't actually recall. I also had some chats with Marinade Finance that basically center around the JLP token. So I'll cover that in more detail, but just keep in mind that JLP is, thus far, it's a very good asset that holds a basket of currencies. So it is up only to a degree. However, also just keep in mind that, you know, if you held SOL, you would have outperformed this. And I still think that will be the case. But if you want less risk, if you want a bit of BTC, ETH, and those perp trading fees, then JLP could be something you want to hold. It was recently Mother's Day, in North America at least, and BonkMiss e-cards have now been created. And these look really, really cool. You can send someone a BonkMiss e-card, and then they can go and claim this bonk. Now, my opinion is, and my researcher's opinion is, go and do this from the same wallet that you're using to build your bonk dragon. It's highly likely that actually engaging these sort of things will give you another part of the dragon. You build that dragon, and then come the end of the dragon year, I imagine you're going to get a decent bonk reward. Just an idea, not entirely sure. And if you do one of these, keep in mind they can take up to 30 minutes to deliver, and they can go to spam, so just keep an eye out for that. Now onto some Sanctum news. So I also had plenty of different discussions on staking, and of course, go and stake your SOL with validated.com. We appreciate it, and it's good for your SOL to not lose out to inflation. So right now, this is what you need to do to get into the top 10%, 5%, 2% with Sanctum by holding a decent amount of INF. Now, I do think that Sanctum is really cool, and it will bring in a lot more people into staking, which is great. But I do feel that the actual added risk, which is minimal, isn't for everyone in crypto. So, you know, engage in this now, but after maybe the airdrop, I would anticipate this to actually start to reduce unless they continue to actually push more and more rewards. And some people out there and just pushing, like NFT Doctor, he wants 10 wallets in the top 200. So this one's 199. He has all of the pets, meaning he has 18 of the LSTs, and he's just pushing. He's obviously got thousands and thousands of SOL. On the subject of the Sanctum LSTs, BonkSOL is now live for trading, lending, and borrowing. You can do this with Rainfi with a 90% average APY and a massive LTV. So if you haven't checked out Rainfi, I've done a couple of videos on it, but I'll probably do another one coming up soon as well. But essentially it's like Kamino, but it's peer-to-peer. One issue is, as it's peer-to-peer, you may only have a loan for like 7 days or 5 days or 14 days, as opposed to Kamino, which is effectively indefinite. On the subject of DeFi, we've got some news here, with Borg being onboarded with some weekly rewards into Kamino. Now, I personally have no idea about Borg. I've looked into it maybe briefly in the past. It's an older token, so if we kind of zoom all the way out, we can see it, you know, it's a very old token. It went up, screamed up, the all-time high we can see here, and then it's down considerably. So I'm not entering into this pool, just putting it onto your radar. Remember I was talking about staking? Marinade Finance announced the launch of Marinade V2 coming soon, which is very, very cool. And I'll cover this in more detail closer to the launch date. But for now, you definitely probably want to use Sanctum and just native staking with validated.com. But when this comes out, unless there's decent rewards coming from Sanctum, this will probably get you 10% on your staked SOL. All right, the actionables. Drip Glob multiplier ends at 5 PM UTC. Send a Bonk Mark e-card from Bonk Dragon wallet. That's really important. Make sure you're using that exact wallet, because I think it will actually qualify to get another piece of the Bonk Dragon. Remember, if you love SOL, DCA SOL on Jup.ag and stake with validated.com. Provide some LPs in Kamino's Meteora vaults for the Kamino points as well as the Met points. Meteora is going to do very, very well. It's going to just explode. It will have the Jup effect. Probably not as big as the Jup effect, because Jup is easy. You swap, you do a DCA, you swap. Whereas Meteora has a lot more complexity. Also keep in mind the Pith token unlock will be on the May 20th. And remember, earn crypto by doing super team earn bounties, as well as other things, but mostly content. Go and make some content. It's worth doing, and you'll likely be rewarded if it's decent. Finally, I lost my voice on day one at Solana Crossroads just by talking to people. So when it comes right back, I'm going to get stuck into a lot more evergreen content and a lot more decent tutorials. That's all for today. Catch you tomorrow.